In a small fishing village along the West African coast lived Amina, a humble young woman with a heart full of light. Every dawn, she followed her father, Baba Musa, to the sea. He was an old fisherman known for his honesty and wisdom. Their life was simple: mending nets, selling fish at the market, and praying for calm tides. Amina was loved by everyone. She shared her food with hungry children and cared for elders who had no family left. Though she had little, she gave much. Her best friend Ngozi often teased her. "You're too kind, Amina. One day, that big heart will get you hurt." Amina would laugh softly. "Kindness can't hurt, Ngozi. It only heals." One bright morning, something unusual happened. A black SUV roared into the village, throwing dust into the air. From it stepped Daniel, a handsome young man wearing designer sunglasses and a confident smile. He was the son of the regional governor, sent to inspect a resort project near the beach. When Daniel's car got stuck in the soft sand, the villagers hesitated, afraid of the rich man's attitude. But Amina stepped forward barefoot, grabbed a rope, and tied it to the car. With a few pushes and her strong hands, the vehicle rolled free. Daniel was amazed. "You did that all by yourself?" Amina smiled shyly. "Here, we help one another. Even the sea respects teamwork." Her words touched him more than he expected. Later that evening, Daniel couldn't stop thinking about the girl with the bright eyes and the calm spirit. He returned the next day with bottles of water and food for the fishermen, pretending to check on the area. But his real reason was Amina. Days passed, and a strange friendship blossomed. Daniel helped Amina sell fish in the market, while she showed him how to repair nets. For the first time, Daniel saw life without wealth, and it humbled him. One evening, as the sun painted the sea gold, Daniel said quietly, "You deserve more than this life." Amina shook her head, smiling. "I already have everything I need: peace, work, and the people I love." He had no answer, only silence, heavy with unspoken feelings. But trouble was coming. Rumors spread through the village that the governor's son was spending too much time with a poor girl. Some mocked Amina, others warned her to stop. Even Baba Musa worried. "My child, men from the city don't marry girls like us," he said gently. Amina looked at him with steady eyes. If love is true, it needs no permission. That night, Daniel stood by the water, watching the waves crash against the rocks. His heart was full, but he didn't yet know the storm that love would soon bring. Weeks passed, and Daniel and Amina's bond deepened. They met secretly near the old lighthouse, talking about dreams and fears. Daniel promised to build a small school in the village one day. "You don't need to be rich to make change," Amina told him. "You just need heart." But their quiet love couldn't remain hidden forever. One afternoon, Madame Clara, Daniel's mother, arrived at the construction site unexpectedly. She spotted her son laughing beside Amina and froze. Later that night, at the mansion, she confronted him. "A fisherman's daughter? Do you know what people will say? You will ruin our name, Daniel." He tried to reason with her. "Mother, she's not what you think. She's kind, humble." "Enough," she interrupted. "You are engaged to Sylvia, the daughter of the mayor. End this madness or lose everything." Daniel's father, stern and proud, said nothing. His silence was heavier than any words. Torn between love and duty, Daniel withdrew. Days turned into weeks, and he didn't return to the village. Amina waited by the shore every evening, her heart aching with hope and fear. Baba Musa noticed her pain. "You gave your heart to the sea, my daughter," he said sadly, "and the sea doesn't Always return what it takes. Then, tragedy struck. One stormy night, fierce winds tore across the coast. Boats were overturned, and fishermen were lost to the waves. Among them was Baba Musa's small wooden boat. Amina ran through the rain, screaming her father's name, but he never came back. When Daniel heard the news, he rushed to the village, guilt consuming him. He found Amina sitting by the shore, soaked and trembling, holding her father's old fishing hat. "You left," she whispered through tears. "You promised you wouldn't." Daniel knelt before her. "I was weak, Amina. I thought I could protect you by leaving, but I only hurt you more." Amina looked into his eyes and turned away. "Go back to your world, Daniel. Mine has already sunk." He stayed, even when she ignored him. He helped the villagers rebuild after the storm, carrying wood, fixing nets, comforting the wounded. Slowly, the people began to see that his love was not a game. But Madame Claire wasn't done. She came to the village one morning with guards, demanding Daniel return home. When she saw her son hauling nets beside Amina, her anger turned to disbelief. "You're living like a commoner. For this girl?" she cried. Daniel faced her calmly. "For this woman who taught me what life means." Claire left in silence. For the first time, her son's strength frightened her more than his defiance. Months passed. The sea had calmed, and so had the hearts in the village. Daniel continued to live simply, refusing to return to the city. He taught children to read under a palm tree, using seashells as letters. Amina watched quietly, torn between love and the scars of loss. One evening, Ngozi teased her again. "The prince is still here, Amina. Maybe the sea returned something after all." Amina smiled faintly. "Maybe. Or maybe he's just lost again." But she knew in her heart that Daniel's love was real. It had survived wealth, storms, and rejection. Then, one morning, a convoy arrived. Madame Clara stepped out, this time alone. Her face was tired, her pride faded. "I came to take my son home," Clara said quietly, "but now I see he is already home. You've given him what money could not, peace." Tears welled in Amina's eyes. "All I gave him was truth." That evening, the whole village gathered by the sea. Drums echoed across the shore, and the elders blessed Daniel and Amina's union. She wore a simple white dress. He wore a plain shirt. The wind carried the scent of salt and joy as the waves danced behind them. Years later, Daniel and Amina built a small school and a health center in memory of Baba Musa. They called it the Fisherman's Hope. Every child who learned to read there carried a story of love that conquered class, pride, and pain. When their children grew old enough to ask, Amina would tell them, "Your father came from the city, and I came from the sea. But love built the bridge between us." And whenever the waves whispered against the shore, the villagers would smile and say, "The sea remembers their story, the girl who taught a prince to be human." Moral: true love is not about riches or beauty. It is about sacrifice, forgiveness, and standing together when life's storms rise.